Who do you need to replace in your life? What fresh start are you wanting to begin at this time? And when we're talking about boundaries, what is the status of them when it comes to your relationships? These are some of the questions that the full moon in Aries is asking us to consider at this time. Welcome back, Astro fam. It's me, Mandy Rose, your relational astrologer. Welcome back to my channel. We are talking today about the full moon in Aries, which is my favorite full moon to talk about because it's the relationship full moon of the astrological year. So we're going to dive into all of that today. I'm going to do a little recap and an overview of what's going on currently in the sky with all of our life coach planets. What is the cosmic energy that we're moving into this full moon with? And also, what are we going to be experiencing as that full moon starts to wane in the sky? Every day, we're going to see it get smaller and smaller. And what that's going to mean is that we are moving into eclipse season. The eclipse portal will be opening. So we're going to discuss a little bit of that today. If you're new to my channel, hi, thank you so much for being here. I use astrology to help you have better relationships. The first one being with yourself, which is the most important one, and then the relationships with those around you, because either you understand their birth chart, or if you're watching my videos here on YouTube or following me over on TikTok, you understand the cosmic energy and understand why the people around you are acting the way that they are. In my full and new moon videos, I break down the full and new moon. We talk about the zodiac sign that lunation is happening within. I give you some fun facts about that newer full moon. And most importantly, at the end, I will always give you some rituals and activities that you can do around the time of that lunation to implement that energy into your life and to move through it with ease. So starting out today, let's kind of dive into the astro weather. What is going on cosmically? What are we already feeling as we're moving towards this full moon in Aries? As we're moving into this full moon in Aries, we are halfway through the astrological year. So starting out in March, around the 20th every single year, we have the spring solstice. And when we move into the spring solstice, it means that the sun is moving into the constellation or the zodiac energy of Aries. And that is where we begin all of our astrological energy. And the sun will then move from Aries all the way around the sky through all 12 constellations, aka all 12 zodiac signs, until it lands in Pisces, which is our final energy. Now, when the sun gets to Libra, Libra is the halfway point, and Libra is the energy of relationships. It's the point in which we need to consider others and where we are in partnership, in agreement, in communication with the people around us. So I always call Libra soulmate season. It's the time where we kind of reflect and look at the relationships in our life. So as we're moving into this full moon in Aries, we are halfway through the cosmic year. We've made changes, we've made adjustments, we've moved forward, we made decisions, we've rearranged a lot of pieces of our life since March. Wouldn't you agree? Let me know in the comments what in your life has dramatically changed since March. But now we are looking at the relationships. This is the point in the year where we reflect and say, who can come with us on this journey? Who is still serving me? We just got done with a Venus retrograde, right? And so we were asking ourselves these questions. Who's the perfect partner for me? Does this person still bring me joy and harmony and peace? Do they bring out my inner child? Or do they bring out my wounded inner child, right? And what are my boundaries at this time? What fresh starts and maybe new people do I want to welcome into my life? So we're halfway through the astrological year. We're in Libra season, and that's the energy we're feeling as we move into this full moon in Aries. Now, in addition to that, when we're looking at the energy of Aries, right? The sun is in Libra, the moon is in Aries, they're opposite signs in the sky. I'll go ahead and pull up the chart here so we can kind of see visually where they are in the sky. Aries is the energy of initiation, right? It's where we begin, but it's also hot and fiery and passionate. It's symbolically associated with the warrior, where it's like cutting things and doing whatever it takes to move forward impulsively, right? Acting on emotion and triggering ourselves into the next step. So now, as we have this full moon in Aries that's lighting up this energy, that's highlighting it in the night sky, we might be a little bit more volatile, spicy, intense, fiery, just in general, a little bit more fiery and wanting to just finally make that decision. Now, I'm just going to say it. I've been kind of talking about it for a while, and you're going to hear me bring this concept up a lot as we move into eclipse season in October. And essentially, this full moon is going to be a illumination of sorts around us stepping into our main character energy. See, Aries goes first, but Aries is very selfish, but not selfish in a negative way of I don't care about anyone or anything, but in a self-preserving way, meaning I put my oxygen mask on first. I take care of me first. I look out for my needs and my wants and my boundaries first. So that when I show up into a relationship, I am full, I am whole, I am ready to be of service and to give, and I'm willing to compromise, and I'm willing to collaborate, and I'm willing to give a piece of me because all of my needs and wants and desires are already met by me. And it's also looking at your life and saying, I am the main character, right? That everyone else in your life can be replaced. They can be adjusted, they can be tweaked, right? They are the co-stars or the supporting actors of your life that you get to control and you get to make a decision of. Now, as a relational astrologer, my goal is to help you understand the full moons, the new moons, the retrogrades, the cosmic energy, and use it by understanding it to have better relationships. And of course, there's relationships in our lives that maybe we don't get to decide, like our family or who our boss is, or, certain people that's our neighbors. But you have the decision of how you energetically, right? Astrology is energy. You energetically have the decision of how you want to navigate that, how you want to engage in that, how much of your energy you want to give to that relationship. And so that's what we're assessing right now around the time of this full moon in Aries, but also moving into the new eclipse cycle in the month of October. So this is going to be an ongoing journey. And I really want you to kind of have some time to reflect and think about your main character energy. It's going to be so important, and I'm going to bring it up a lot. Now, as we were looking at the chart, we can see here there's a lot of energy on both sides of Aries and Libra. We have 3 planets in Libra where the sun is. That's going to be the sun, that's going to be Mars, and it's going to be the south node. And over on the Aries side, where the moon is going to be illuminating, the moon is in the area with Chiron, our wounded healer, the one that's helping us heal our trauma and heal our triggers and heal our inner child. And he's also where the north node is, remembering that the north node symbolically represents the energy we're meant to step into at this chapter, in this season of our lives. It's the energy we're supposed to move towards. And Aries, again, is the energy of the toddler under 7, self-preserving, being selfish, doing things for you, speaking your truth, taking action in pursuit of your desires and what lights you up and your passion. And so where the moon is, we have this ability to heal our wounds, our traumas, things that are holding us back so that we can step into our north node for the next year. The north node in Aries officially started in July of this year and is going to continue all the way until 2025. So this focus, this stepping into, as all of us cosmically, collectively, and independently are moving towards Aries' main character energy. When it comes to the lens of relationships, you're going to have better relationships by following my content and understanding astrology because, like I said, you're going to understand why other people are acting the way that they are. And at the time of this full moon and in through the month of October, do not be surprised if the people around you are instilling some boundaries, saying no more often to hanging out or to social engagements, or maybe changing the way in which they are acting and the way they are behaving and focusing on their own life. Okay, we're going to see this all around, and I just don't want you to be surprised, and I want you to give that person some grace and patience, and you stay in your own lane and you focus on the things that you need to do in your life as your main character. Okay. Now, also, this full moon in Aries is a 6-month cycle looking back to the new moon that happened in March. So if you're looking at your life, go back to March. We had a solar eclipse in Aries. It was a new moon. It was a new beginning. It was a new chapter for you. So what in March started new? Where was there a sudden unexpected twist, a turn, something in your life where the ball started rolling that you can look back now 6 months later and say, whoa, that's actually where it all began. That conversation, that opportunity, that thing that was left or stripped or taken away from me led me on this path to where I am now. We're now at the full moon, the peak, the culmination, the highlight, the illumination, the ability to say, wow, in 6 months, this has come so far for me. Also, cosmically, don't forget we are still in heavy retrograde energy. We still have 6 planets actively retrograde around the time of this full moon. So we are going to be releasing and letting go and changing things and making decisions. But overall, we are still in a season of slowing down, of being precise, of making sure the actions and decisions we are taking is in alignment for us for our next chapter. So just wanted to bring that up. Don't forget 6 active retrogrades. If you want to know a little bit more about that, you can grab my astrology journal. I'll put it down in the description box below. We are almost done with the year, so it is discounted, but you can still go back and fill out all the journal prompts for the 6 active retrogrades. And of course, we still have 3 new moons, 3 full moons, some eclipses, and some other energies going on that you can fill out in this journal. Now, speaking of that, let's get into the details. If you have your copy of the 2023 Astrology Retrograde Journal, open it up to page 75. That is the full moon in Aries page where you're going to see all the specifics and more, along with your journal prompts, your full moon ritual, the chakras, the herbs, and the crystals that you can use around the time of this full moon. So let's dive in to the details. This full moon in Aries will be exact in the sky on September 29th at 5:57 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So go ahead and adjust that for your time zone. We're going to pull up the chart here again, and it is at 6 degrees of Aries. The sun will be in Libra because it is Libra sun season at 6 degrees, and the moon will be at 6 degrees of Aries. When the sun and the moon are directly opposite each other in the sky, we have a full moon. Remembering that full moons are releasing, letting go. It's a season for us to shed light, to shed weight, because we now see things clearly. So with that, I want to give you some fun facts about this specific full moon in Aries. Now, we have a full moon in Aries every single year. We have 1 full moon in each zodiac sign in an astrological year, and we have 1 new moon in each astrological sign in 1 astrological year. So every year around this time of year, we have a full moon in Aries. That is nothing special. But each year when we have a full moon in Aries, what makes it unique or what makes it different year to year is where the other planets are and what's going on cosmically in the universe, energetically speaking, that is impacting and changing the way in which we engage with the full moon in Aries. So let's talk about some fun facts about the one happening in 2023. Number 1, it is a super moon. So the full moon in Aries happening on September 29th is a super moon. What the heck does that mean? Well, a super moon essentially means that the full moon is the closest to Earth that it possibly can be. So from our perspective here on Earth, it looks larger and brighter than ever. The last 4 full moons that we've had have all been super moons. So this is going to be the last and final super moon of 2023. So when you see it in the sky, it is going to look bigger and brighter than ever. The second fun fact about this full moon in Aries is that it's leading us into eclipse season. So what does that mean? Well, this is a full moon that is not an eclipse. But next month in October, our next new moon in Libra is going to be a solar eclipse. All new moons, when it is an eclipse, is called a solar eclipse. At the end of October, on the 28th, we are going to have our full moon of the month, and that is going to be in the zodiac energy of Taurus, which is also going to be an eclipse. So when you see that full moon in the sky, it is going to be big, it is going to be bright, it is going to be bold, and every night it is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. It's what we call waning. As it's getting smaller, I want you to remember it is getting smaller and it is opening up the eclipse portal for the new moon, the solar eclipse. So what does that mean? Eclipse energy is volatile, it's unexpected, and it is getting us back on track with our destiny. The new moon solar eclipse happening on October 14th is an eclipse that has not happened in 19 years. This is a brand new cycle that's beginning. This is a shift, this is a change, and it's in Libra. Remembering that Libra is the relationship energy. It's the energy of collaboration and connection and engaging with the people around us. So there is a new energy we're supposed to be stepping into in this new ecliptic cycle. And we have an opportunity at this full moon in Aries to make that decision. Remembering at the beginning of this video, I said, what fresh start are you needing to make in your life, right? Who are the people that you want to take along this journey with you? Who needs to be replaced? And what are the boundaries you need to start implementing so that you can have better relationships in your life, right? So that is really, really important. And the third fun fact about this full moon in Aries happening in 2023 is that in the sky at the time of this full moon, I'm pulling up the chart here again, is that we have 3 oppositions. The sun and the moon will be opposite. We already know that. But Mars, who's the ruling planet, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that when we get to the specifics, Mars is going to be directly opposite Chiron, our wound and healing and triggering the pieces of us that need to be healed. And we're also going to have Mercury opposite Neptune, Mercury being our mind and the way we think and communicate, and Neptune being a little bit distorted, hazy, foggy, rose-colored glasses. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But what I want to say is that with 3 oppositions, 3 planets in the sky directly opposite, if we see here from the chart, the planet on one side being opposite the planet on the other side, there's a circle in the middle of the chart, right? That circle represents us here on planet Earth. We are in the middle of that energy. We need to make a decision. We feel the energy here and we feel the energy here, and we're torn back and forth, and we can never be in the middle. We can never limbo, right? We always have to pick a side. Am I going to go this way or am I going to go that way? The more we stay in the middle, the more confused we are and the less productive we are, and the least likely we are to get to our North Node, our soul's mission, our purpose for being here, to be in this human form as a soul. So this is a huge full moon with 3 oppositions saying it's time to make a decision. It's time to move forward. And we'll break that down more in the specifics. Now, Aries and Libra, we keep talking about these zodiac energies, but I want you to really understand the energy. What does it embody? What does it mean as we talk about the planets in these energies? Libra, relationships. Libra, harmony, peace, justice, fairness. I call it soulmate season. The sun is in Libra. It entered Libra from September 23rd all the way until October 23rd. We're going to feel this energy. We are wanting to connect. And I have a theory, so let me know in the comments below if my theory is valid. And if not, ask around. I have a theory that couples who meet in this Libra season, let's say late September into October, if you meet, if you start dating, or if you get married during this time of year, I know that these couples last so long. So many people I know that have been married 20 years, 30 years, have been together a long time, either met or got married during Libra season. So let me know in the comments below and help me validate this theory, because that's the energy the sun is highlighting. The sun in the sky is in the constellation of Libra. Libra is the energy of relationships and harmony and peace, and it's shining upon us that energy of Libra. But the moon is in the opposite energy of Aries. Me, toddler under 7, being selfish, paying attention to your wants and your needs and your desires, right? So how does this full moon in Aries affect us? Well, on one side of us, it's like, I want to be in partnership. I want peace. I want harmony. I want love. I want my soulmate. I want my person. I want to be with people. But we can't have that if we don't prioritize ourselves and our wants and our needs and know our boundaries and discover the pieces of us that makes us who we are. We can't give up ourselves to be in relationship, because the person that person is in relationship with isn't authentic, isn't us. It's just the version of us we've created to be with them. Does that make sense? They can't love us for who we are, Aries, if we aren't being our authentic self. And that requires boundaries. That requires us to meet our needs and figure out our passions. So that's kind of the themes that are coming up and being highlighted around the time of this full moon, because of the energy of Aries, toddler under 7, me, and the energy of Libra, which is all about we, and couple goals and all of that. Let's shift gears. Let's kind of talk more about the specific themes, the specific action you need to take, and why that is. I'll try not to make this super complicated, but I know it's really helpful for a lot of you who are trying to understand astrology and also trying to look at it on your birth chart. So if you have your birth chart, pull that up. I'll give you some specific places in the chart to look for. And let's dive in by pulling up the chart, locating the sun and the moon, 6 degrees of Aries, 6 degrees of Libra. We already know that. The next thing I like to do when we're talking about the specifics of any new or full moon is talking about the planet that rules that lunation. What does that mean? Each planet rules a specific area of the sky, and when there's a full or new moon in that area of the sky, they are ruling over it, because consider them the landlord of that zodiac sign. They are the owner of that space, and they make the rules and pay attention to what's going on within their home. And that is Mars. So when we're talking about the energy in the sky and we're talking about this lunation, it is Mars ruled. Mars is the warrior, taking action, cutting things, making decisions, stepping forward, being bold and brave and uninhibited. toddler under 7, right? Like Mars is like, I'm going to get it and I don't care who says anything about it. And I'm going to act before I think. And it can be very impulsive energy. But if we look where Mars is in the sky today at the time of this full moon that he rules, he's in Libra, which means he is furthest away from home that he possibly can be. Anytime a planet is in the opposite sign of what they rule, consider them in a foreign land with a foreign language and a foreign culture. Like they don't know how to act or behave. And so Mars is in Libra, which is relationships. And he's like, well, I'm going to take action in my relationships. I want to make decisions in my relationships. I want to be the warrior. I want to be the fighter. I want to do and say things impulsively to change my relationships, right? So right now, it's a little bit slowing down. It's looking for all the facts and data around your relationships and then taking action. Because Mars isn't as impulsive as he normally is, but he's very focused on taking action in relationships because he's in Libra. Now, Mars is very, very active in the sky right now. Mars is ruling the show. He is the main character. He is really going to affect us. So if you have your birth chart or you know this about yourself, if you are a Scorpio rising or an Aries rising, Mars is your personal planetary ruler. I want you to consider him your major life coach, the one that you go to most of the time in your life for action, direction, decision, advice, guidance, etc. Mars, at the time of this full moon and moving into October, is making moves. He is talking to so many other planets. He is directing the sky. And Mars makes us make decisions. Mars makes us cut things away. Mars makes us initiate the new that we are needing to make at this time. So Mars right now is at 21 degrees of Libra. Let's talk about it. First of all, Mars is almost conjunct the south node in the sky. We can see the south node. It's the horseshoe shape. It represents the ecliptic and it represents our karma and our past. And it's at 24 degrees of Libra. That is 3 degrees away from each other in the sky. Mars is taking action, cutting away, making decisions, stepping forward, movement. And the south node is our karma. It's our past. It's what we're letting go of. It's what we're needing to release, what doesn't serve us, the old chapter, the last chapter. So that's a big thing. Right now, there's a lot of karmic stuff. Look at your relationships. Do they feel karmic? Are they stuck in the same pattern? Are you fighting about the same thing over and over? And it's a cycle and you're ready to break it and you're ready to step away. The south node is saying release, let go. That is an old story, an old narrative, and it can't go with you into your next chapter. So Mars conjunct the south node is a really big deal, and it will be exact the first week of October. So we're moving into that energy. The second thing is Mars is square Pluto, and we know when there's squares, there's what? Tension, arguments, conflict, because it creates a point, and that point, that right edge, is uncomfortable, and we're having to make decisions. Pluto is god of the underworld, destruction, right? Tear it down, burn it down, start fresh. And Mars is the warrior. So anytime you have Mars and Pluto interacting, it's life-changing. Big, big moves, big, big decisions. And it can feel destructive and it can feel like there's just rubble, but you get to build anew on it. So Mars is working with Pluto to just overhaul some systems, transformation in your life on a big scale. Now, a positive is we can see that Mars is opposite Chiron. Healing wounds. Chiron is in Aries. So there's this inner child energy of us needing to heal, a masculine energy within us where we always want to fight. And we always want to speak our truth and we always want to be impulsive and we want to take. There's this masculine wounded energy of us wanting to fight and climb our way to love and freedom and abundance. And we're healing that right now. So there's a big healing energy with our masculine and our inner child, and it's beautiful. But Mars is also kind of dealing with that. And lastly, Mars is in a sextile with Venus. We love this. This is good energy because Venus is our feminine. Mars is our masculine. They're in a sextile in the sky. When planets are in sextiles, it's like they're having sex. They're combining their energies. It feels good. It's in flow. And so all of this that's happening, all the work that Mars is doing, cutting out those toxic cycles, south node, leaving the past behind, ending the karma, destroying things with Pluto, burning it down, starting over, having transformation, healing things with Chiron, is in this harmonious, pleasurable energy of bringing our feminine and masculine into balance and relationships into balance and creating more harmony and peace and love within our life. Now remember, Venus is in Leo. So let's talk a little bit about Venus at this time. Venus is still in Leo. Y'all know she's been retrograding all summer, tearing up relationships. We've seen so many breakups, so many celebrities breaking up, but also people in our own lives. And maybe you didn't break up with someone, or maybe relationships have made it, but the way in which those relationships are interacting and the way in which they are moving forward looks a lot different. People have been asking with Venus and Leo, what brings me joy? What brings me pleasure? What brings me harmony? Like, where does my inner child feel alive? And if that person doesn't make me feel that way, they can't really come with me into the next chapter. So Venus in the sky at the time of this full moon, everything we talked about thus far is very applicable to this full moon in Aries. But what is taking it up a notch, what is bumping it up another level, is what Venus and Uranus are up to. This is background energy that is kind of like the shove off the cliff of us making those decisions in our relationship, because Venus is in a square with Uranus. And we've talked about this all summer because she has done this twice before already, in June and in August, and she's back for the third hurrah, the third and final meetup with Uranus. And Uranus does what? Sudden, jolting change, shake up, liberation, freedom, independence. There might be something in a relationship that is final straw. No more, I'm not doing this. Either it's going to break or it's going to change in a massive way. And that is exact. Venus and Uranus are both at 22 degrees at the time of this full moon. 2222. Twos are movement, getting on with it, done with it, right? One starts it, two moves it. So there's a lot of relationship shakeups or unexpected twists or turns that might happen because Uranus is the liberator. Come on, let's move it on. So be careful around relationships. There might be a final straw, but it's in your best interest. I promise you, Uranus only brings things to you that's in your best interest. So gaining some independence, ending something, liberating yourself, finding freedom, a new way of moving forward. So it could be triggering. Well, lastly, we're going to talk about those oppositions, the final one. We talked already about the sun and the moon being opposite. That's the full moon. We talked about Mars being opposite Chiron. That's our healing energy, taking action towards healing some wounds and traumas that might be triggered at this time. That's making us realize and take new action in relationships. And that third one is kind of what I want to leave off on today. Mercury opposite Neptune. Mercury is our mind. It's how we think. It's how we express. It's how we communicate. Mercury is in the energy of Virgo. He's analyzing, he's assessing. He just came out of retrograde. Like, we are going through the details, the facts of our relationships. How many times did they say this? How often does this happen? We're looking at the nitty gritty. We are analyzing the heck out of the people we're around. Mercury in Virgo. Opposite Neptune, though. Neptune creates a foggy, hazy sense of illusion. We're still wanting to put someone on a pedestal. We're still wanting to see them through rose-colored glasses. Like, we're having a hard time seeing clearly and making a decision. This is going to be affecting us the next couple days. So what I want you to do is, I don't want you to think with your head. I want you to feel with your heart. Aries is impulsive. It goes on feeling. It doesn't think. It acts first. With this Mercury opposite Neptune, you can't rely on your thoughts and your rationalization and the data and the numbers and how many times. And I'll give you an example. If someone said something hurtful to you one time, does it hurt any less if they say it 10 times? No, it hurts the same. You're just rationalizing it or making excuses, right? So it doesn't matter how many times someone does you dirty. It doesn't matter how many times someone crosses your boundaries. Once is enough. And that feeling that you get in your relationships that don't serve anymore, that you're cutting the karma away, Mars conjunct the North Node, the decisions to heal yourself and get over these traumas and triggers that are causing you to be in these situations. It's time to go with your feeling. That is your best instinct at this time, okay? So I'm just going to leave it on that. And we will get on to the rituals and activities that can help move you through this full moon, because I know it's a lot. This is heavy. A lot of us are feeling this way. When we're talking about relationships, they're not just intimate. There's business partners, there's bosses, there's neighbors, there's friends, there's clients. There's so many different types and dynamics of relationships. And it's time for us to evaluate all of them. So what are some things you can do around the time of this full moon to work with this energy? Number one, I would definitely find a healthy way to move through your anger or the emotions that come up at this time. Aries is hot and it is spicy and there's a lot going on and a lot of confusion moving through your energy. So exercise, it could be a new form of exercise, kickboxing, karate, strength training. Do something different that is really allowing you to get your power and your movement and your chi going. Or maybe it's journaling, or maybe it's coloring. I don't know. Figure out for you what works. The second thing I would definitely do around the time of this full moon is figure out your boundaries. Figure out your boundaries and write them down. It's so easy to have this idea in our mind of what we should do in relationships, but you need to write down your boundaries list. What is your non-negotiables? When someone does this, what are you going to do about it? Where's the line? Where's the line? Not this hazy, foggy, oh, well, if they do this, but under these circumstances kind of thing. You need to have your hard boundary lines drawn out. And I would love for you to do an exercise. Just take a piece of printer paper, draw a line down the middle, and write your boundaries. And when someone steps over that line and enters into that no boundary zone, you cut it off, okay? It takes some time to meditate on that and to do that exercise. And the last and final thing that I really encourage you to do around this time and through the month of October, because we're coming up on some crazy energy, is say no to something. Say no to something right now. There is something on your to-do list. There is something on your event calendar for October. There is something you don't want to do. And I want you to be the main character of your life. Let's go back to that. You are the main character. This is your life. You are going to soothe your own wants, needs, and desires. You are going to prioritize your goals. You are going to focus on you in every piece of you, financially, physically, etc. So say no to something that you don't want to go to, that doesn't serve you, that you're doing out of obligation, Libra, people-pleasing, codependency for someone else. Go do it right now. Send that text, say, I regret to inform you, I'm so sorry. I have to focus on this. Be honest, but say no to something, because it's going to create space and room for you to focus on you and to build some abundance and vibration for all the things that are coming when those planets come out of retrograde in October, November, and December, and starting out 2024 with some amazing energy. So I'm going to leave you with all of that. I do want to mention that I am in process of creating the 2024 Astrology Retrograde Journal. So if you've already purchased a copy this year and you look forward to next year's, you can get on my email list. You can send me a message in the comments. You can go to any of my social media platforms. Pay attention, because I will be releasing it by the end of October. That way you have it in your hands for the upcoming year. I'm really looking forward to breaking down and talking more about the cosmic energy in 2024. I also have an eclipse workshop that is coming up on October 2nd. Just a couple days after this full moon, we are going to talk about the ecliptic energy. Potent portal, very relationship focused. It's $11.11. I priced it very low because I want to help as many people understand this energy, because it's a big one. You can bring your birth chart. It's kind of like a mini birth chart reading, because I'm going to help you find in your chart exactly where in your life these eclipses will be impacting you. We'll talk a little bit about the eclipses in 2024 and how it's a continuation of what's happening right now. But if you don't have your birth chart, come to the workshop anyways. We're going to talk about where in your life and where everyone is going to be feeling this energy, dates to pay attention to, etc. So I'm really looking forward to that. It is on Zoom, so you can join us from anywhere in the world. If you purchase a ticket and can't make it live, it's okay. I'll have your email address and I'll send you the replay immediately after our workshop is over. So find all the information for that in the description box below. If you like more short format relationship and astrology content, follow me over on TikTok. And I will be back with another video breaking down the October energy and, of course, the eclipses next month. So I'm going to send you a lot of love and light as you move through the full moon in Aries. Thank you for being here and allowing me to be your guide through the cosmic energy. Make sure you hit subscribe and follow along. And please share this video with anyone that you think is interested and needs some help navigating this cosmic weather. Sending you love and light. I will catch you in the next video.